Hi everyone, I hope you're doing super well. You know what? I have a big problem. Shocker, I know, but it's right up there. Do you see it? That Philodendron Dean McDowell cutting that I have in that glass vase up there. Not only has it grown out roots in the last 3 weeks, long roots, but its new leaf is starting to emerge, which is not good. So what we need to do is we need to pot it up. Welcome back to my kitchen, everyone. If you're new to my channel, my name is Kevin, and I like to talk about plants, because my life is really exciting. But we're going to talk about one specific plant today, and that is my Philodendron Dean McDowell cutting. It's right up there, and you'll notice the issue with it right now is that when I did this video like 3 weeks ago showing you guys how I turned my kitchen cupboards into this large propagation station type of area, I mentioned how it's a really good space for water propagation because for whatever reason the light that hits over there, it's not too bright, not too bright and direct. It's kind of like a medium light where plants just tend to root really well up there. But I didn't think that it would root this well with the Philodendron Dean McDowell. I mean, like I said, it's only been up there 3 weeks, but as you can see, the new leaf that was on the growth point there on that cutting is already starting to unfurl, which is not a good thing because if the water that's inside that container starts to touch that new leaf and it soaks in there, it'll kill off that new leaf. Right around it is the cataphyll, which is that red, maroonish, brown type of layering around the new leaf. It serves as a modified leaf in a sense that really protects the new leaf that's coming out. But apparently that cataphyll is just like, you know what? My duty is done with. My job has been done, and I'm ready for retirement. And so, in essence, it's kind of left me with this situation. I was already planning to pot up the Philodendron Dean McDowell cutting this week because I noticed that the roots were growing really long, like 5 inches long already, and they're thick roots too. But I didn't notice that the leaf was starting to unfurl and come out until today, which speeds up the whole situation. So we're going to hop up here and we're going to grab this baby and bring her down. So that's what we're going to do. But yeah, man, oh man, take a look at that new leaf that's coming out. It's the energy that this plant has received really made it kind of come to life really quickly. So we're going to take this down and then we're going to pot it up. Woo! Ah, yes, the beautiful Philodendron Dean McDowell. If we're going to really get into this, I need to get into serious mode. And by serious mode, I mean I need to put on my philodendron farming hat. It's just a hat that has a Colorado symbol on it because I love where I live. This is the Philodendron Dean McDowell, though, and you can see that it has that new leaf emerging, so we need to act quickly. Ah! I have to say, the Philodendron Dean McDowell, which hails, of course, from South America, is a crawling philodendron, and so by crawling, there's a difference. Okay, we have the more common philodendron that are climbing philodendron that climb up trees in nature. But then you have the unique and beautiful crawling philodendron that just crawl along the jungle floor like this fella here. That is where the issue comes from, though, is that we have that new growth point right there. That is the rhizome. And so the rhizome is like the new growth point, the new part of the leaf that's starting to emerge from the ground and coming up and popping out a new leaf. And then it's got the cataphyll that is wrapped around it. Like I said, it's that reddish, pinkish, maroon, brownish type color. And it serves as like a modified type of leaf in a sense to really protect the new leaf that's coming out. But again, this leaf is starting to fade, and so it's ready to come out and do its thing, which is why we need to act quickly with this because I just noticed it. I wasn't paying too close attention to my plants like I should have been, but we are just going to take some chunky aroid mix, which I've done plenty of stories, videos on to tell you guys about, and philodendron tend to love it. And I have to say, because this is the second cutting that I have taken from my Philodendron Dean McDowell mother plant, and it has rooted up really, really quickly. The first cutting actually just had a brand new leaf pop out, and I potted that guy up about maybe like 2, 3 months ago. Speaking of which, just so happens to be here in my hallway. You know, this is the first cutting that I took of that plant. And so with the first cutting, this was the only leaf that was on it aside from the growth point that was coming out. This was the second leaf that came out of it, and then a third leaf right here, and then we have the new leaf that's coming out. But I want to show you guys because it is really interesting, to look at this plant because it'll allow me to explain why it's considered a crawler. So you'll see, like, when I was explaining all that stuff about the rhizome, which is this area right here, it's like basically like the navigation, moving its way along the floor of the jungle. And then you have the cataphyll, which would be right here, which serves as a modified leaf that protects the new leaf that's emerging, and then it just kind of turns into this, or it just starts to wilt away, which we're seeing here with this cutting. But yeah, that's the story of crawling philodendron. I know, it's so so exciting. It's super exciting, guys. I'm gonna put this baby over here. And this one's doing really well. Fact of the matter, by the way, really quickly, is that by the way, there's never a really quickly with me when I start talking. But I should be having these in rectangular pots so it can continue crawling forward. And I have done that, and I have it with like my Philodendron gloriosum, which are also crawlers as well, because it just gives them more space. But I decided, I'm like, I just really want to take in the aesthetic look of it and make it look nice. So I put it into a circular pot, and with this one, we are going to use a clear pot. That way I can keep an eye on its root system, see how it's doing, and then also when I'm ready to transfer it out to a bigger pot, you can just like squeeze it out. It'll be super simple. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying, of course. All right, so first things first, we're going to take our chunky aroid mix, blend it together. I already shook this thing up quite a bit. I'm going to put in a nice firm layer. Make it a little bit thicker, because one thing with crawling philodendron that you really need to do is you need to make sure that the rhizome, which again is this part here, is above ground. So you don't want to bury that part, because if you bury it, it won't see the sunlight, it won't feel it, and it won't start to emerge. It'll just be buried underground there. But yeah, my gosh, look at this thing. How these roots grew so big and thick within just like 2 to 3 weeks. That's insane to me, but also really beautiful. And it does look like I got to this just in time before the cataphyll there, again, the modified leaf that is the protector of the new leaf, started to fully unwind there and come out. So that's the good news. Look at that. I did something right for once, guys. Yay. Okay, so now that I have that, I'm going to, that's the thing, is that I had this not growing inside of this pot at first. I had it in a smaller pot, which is why these roots are like growing up instead of out. And so I need to make sure that, let me take a little bit of this out actually. I need to make sure that those are going to be not exposed, and those will be buried by the soil. Of course, I'm going to take my rooting hormone powder, which will enhance and help the root growth and make this a stronger cutting. So I'm just gonna like pour this. I just dropped the whole thing on the ground here. Jeez, Kevin, like this ain't my first rodeo, but judging off of my skills here, it seems like it is. I'm a mess, just like all of this rooting hormone powder that's falling on here. Let's see if I can just dabble it in and do it shake and bake style, the way that Mom used to do. We're just going to use that. You know what? I'm just a disaster. This plant's like, this is the person that you're leaving me in the care of, Mother Nature, is this guy? This guy? Okay. So, oh man, I might have to take some more of this out. Yes, I will. And I'm going to have to try to tuck these down or around. So, let me see. I don't like touching the roots because it's like the brains of the plant and I don't want to like hurt them or disrupt them, but I feel like sometimes when a cutting grows in like this, I really need to tuck them into other spots. That way, um, they don't like jump out or all that good stuff. Okay, so we're gonna try to tuck these down into hither. I don't know what I'm doing. Yes, I do. I've done this a million times. Maybe like a couple hundred times, but you know, who's counting? Oh no! It came untucked. Tuck that back in there. You know what? Let's see if I can push this down into here. And once the soil hits it, it'll be like, oh, I know what I'm looking for. I'm looking for soil. I don't care where I'm being positioned. There we go. And I'm just talking to myself, talking to a plant cutting here. This is my life. This is what you guys are watching right now on YouTube. Okay, so we're just gonna fill around like so, and just want to make sure that those roots are covered up. How exciting. What an exciting time to be alive, guys, and be watching this YouTube channel. It's interesting because apparently, like when this new leaf started to unfurl inside that glass container there, it hit up against the wall of the side of the water propagation tank, the vase there, and it started to like bend. But I have a feeling that as the leaf starts to emerge there and unfurl, and the caterpillar just kind of like fades away and just kind of like dries off, you know, that it's going to just plop itself out. I'm really glad that I noticed this today because I feel like if I gave it any additional other time, that it wouldn't be a good situation. It would be a sad situation. But here we are, happy and not sad. And so that's it. You know, all I have to do now is water this baby and then just treat it like a regular plant. Unfortunately, we went from like 80 degrees Fahrenheit here in Denver for like the last couple of weeks to this weekend it's supposed to dip down to the 30s and snow. So it's not going to get as much bright light, but fortunately I have grow lights and that'll help with this situation. But yeah, all I have to do is water it, and I'm going to put it in a decorative pot, a little basket to wrap around so it doesn't look like a clear pot there. All gross. But hey, I just wanted to say thank you guys again for joining me on my plant journey, as ridiculous as it is. If you haven't already, please like this video, subscribe to my channel, and make sure to hit the notification button so you can be updated whenever there's fun, new, and interesting planty content just like this. I'll see you guys in the next video.